In an earlier episode, I introduced you to what I like to call the Big Four: sequence, repetition, events, and selection. So far, we have looked at sequence and repetition. Now it's time for events. If you are teaching with a block-based language such as Scratch, MakeCode or FlockXR, events are one of the first concepts you will want learners to understand because they allow learners to build interactive projects with very little code. Events tell a program when something should happen. Perhaps something happens when the program starts, when an object is clicked, or when a key is pressed. Young learners already use events every day without thinking about it. Every tap, click and key press triggers an event. Because we already understand sequence, learners can build a different sequence of instructions for each event. If they already know repetition, they can combine two concepts to create even richer projects. FlockXR has several event blocks to choose from. We have already used the start event in our projects. Anything inside this block will run when play is pressed at the start of our projects. Then we have the when clicked block, which is triggered when the mouse clicks or if someone taps on a tablet. You can also find the forever block in events. Though it is technically repetition, the forever block is triggered at the start of the project. You can also turn the forever block into a stack block, so that it can be triggered within a sequence. In Scratch, you drag in a when green flag click block and attach a forever block to it. In MakeCode and FlockXR, you just use a forever block, which is triggered at the start. Then we have the on collision block, which is fantastic for games because they can trigger conversations or be used to gather collectibles. When two objects touch, something happens in the project. And finally, there is the when press block. FlockXR works across devices. So this block can be triggered in many different ways. For example, if we use forward, then this can be triggered by the W key on the keyboard, the up arrow on the touchscreen, or the forward motion on a game's controller. This makes FlockXR a powerful tool for teaching game design, because learners can actually play the games they have made with a controller, which can be a lot of fun to do. Let's take a look at the when clicked block in a few project examples.
In this first example, you can see that I've used the when clicked block for item 1, which is the heart up here. And we're saying when the item is clicked, we want it to glow, wait for a second, and then clear the effect of glowing. So let's just press play and test it. So I click it, it glows for 1 second, and then it stops glowing. So you can see that the when clicked event gets triggered when I click the item, and then the sequence inside it gets run in that order.
In this example, we used a when clicked event to change the material of an object. Now, let's make a character respond instead.
I can create a different sequence where I've got when character is clicked, we can get it to do a wave animation and then say hello. So let's just press play and test that. So it waves and then it says hello.
With just a few blocks of code, we can get a character to animate and say something in our projects. Once learners understand this idea, they can build interactive scenes where different objects respond in different ways. Nothing happens until the learner interacts with the world. That is what makes events so engaging. There are endless possibilities here for projects that might tell a story or teach us something new. This episode is being filmed on a tiny stretch of a huge footpath called the Monarch's Way. This is a long distance walk of 579 miles across the Midlands and southern England, which follows the journey of King Charles II from his defeat at the Battle of Worcester to his escape from England at Shoreham by Sea. In England, our public footpaths show our history through trade routes and settlements. You can't go far in England without stumbling upon a public footpath that can take you to many interesting places. One of the things I love about places like this is that every path has a story. You just need to find out what they are. In FlockXR, we can build those stories ourselves. Imagine learners recreating these fields and placing characters along the route. As you walk up to each character, an event is triggered and they tell you about the history of the area, the people who lived here, or an important moment in time. Suddenly, learners are bringing local history to life through storytelling. That is what events can allow us to do. They allow our 3D worlds to respond to the people exploring them. Before we finish, let's think about the order we teach the Big Four. For me, sequence always comes first because learners need to understand how code runs. Selection usually comes last because it introduces another layer of complexity, which we will explore in the next episode. The interesting question is whether repetition or events should come first. In our Coding 3D Worlds curriculum, I introduce events before repetition, and that's with Year 3, so 7 to 8 year olds. We spend time helping learners become confident dragging blocks and moving around a 3D world. Keeping the code short while still producing exciting results really helps, and events are perfect for that. We then introduce repetition properly in Year 4 when learners are ready to build larger projects. If I was teaching older beginners with stronger digital skills, I might introduce repetition first because it lets learners create much bigger projects quickly. You will probably find people with very strong opinions about the order. I would not worry too much about that. The important thing is that learners develop a secure understanding of all 4 concepts because they form the foundation for everything that comes afterwards. Next time, we will complete the Big Four by exploring selection. And if you are enjoying the series, remember to like and subscribe so you do not miss the next episode. Bye-bye for now.